Does pain really deter? For obvious ethical and practical reasons, it is difficult to conduct rigorous scientific studies on school corporal punishment. Nevertheless, we can consider whether pain and the threat of pain reliably deter people from engaging in other activities. Cycling provides an interesting comparison. The potential consequences of cycling can be severe. At the extreme end, an accident can result in permanent paralysis or death. Less severe but still significant outcomes include broken bones, severe abrasions, long-term disability, and extensive medical treatment. Even routine cycling can involve discomfort such as muscle fatigue, bruises, saddle soreness, and minor injuries. Yet despite these risks, millions of people continue to cycle every day. The possibility of pain, injury, or even death does not eliminate participation. People weigh risks against perceived rewards and often conclude that the benefits outweigh the dangers. This observation suggests that pain alone is not necessarily an effective deterrent. Human beings routinely engage in activities that carry known risks because those activities provide social, emotional, practical, or psychological rewards. The same principle may help explain why corporal punishment frequently failed to eliminate unwanted behavior in schools. If severe physical risks do not stop people from cycling, climbing mountains, playing contact sports, or engaging in other potentially dangerous activities, it is perhaps unsurprising that the threat of a paddle, slipper, strap, or cane often failed to prevent all forms of school misconduct. The challenge of enduring punishment. In some cases, corporal punishment produced effects quite different from those intended by educators. Rather than being viewed solely as a deterrent, receiving corporal punishment was sometimes regarded as a test of courage or endurance. Among certain groups of pupils, surviving a caning without visible distress could become a source of pride. The ability to withstand punishment stoically was interpreted as evidence of toughness and resilience. For some boys, being caned became a kind of informal rite of passage. Enduring the experience demonstrated maturity, bravery, or membership in a particular peer group. The punishment itself therefore acquired a symbolic significance that went beyond its disciplinary purpose. This cultural dimension also helps explain why some individuals later questioned or denied reports that girls received the cane. In environments where caning was associated with demonstrations of toughness and masculinity, the idea that girls underwent the same punishment challenged those assumptions. If girls could endure the experience as well as boys, the punishment could no longer be regarded as a uniquely male test of strength. Others drew the opposite conclusion. Rather than seeing female participation as diminishing the significance of the experience, they regarded it as evidence that girls and women possessed the same capacity for endurance and resilience as boys and men. Rites of passage and human endurance. The notion of a rite of passage extends far beyond school discipline. Throughout history, many cultures have recognized significant life transitions through ceremonies, challenges, or experiences that mark a change in status. Adolescence, marriage, military service, and parenthood have all been regarded as important milestones. For women, childbirth is often described as one of the most profound rites of passage. It combines physical hardship, emotional intensity, and life-changing consequences in a way few other experiences can match. Those who have witnessed childbirth frequently describe it as an extraordinary demonstration of human endurance. Comparisons between corporal punishment and childbirth are inevitably imperfect, but they highlight an important point. Human beings are capable of enduring levels of pain far beyond what many people imagine possible. The suggestion that surviving a school caning represented the ultimate test of toughness becomes difficult to sustain when viewed in the broader context of human experience. Many forms of physical suffering, whether accidental or natural, far exceed the pain associated with disciplinary punishment. Accidental injury and unavoidable pain. Personal experiences of injury provide another perspective on the nature of pain. Consider the experience of a child injured during playground roughhousing. A fall results in a fractured forearm, with both bones broken near the wrist. The pain is immediate, intense, and overwhelming. There is no warning, no preparation, and no opportunity to avoid the injury once the accident has occurred. Hospital treatment may require the bones to be manipulated back into position. Even with medical expertise, the procedure can be extremely painful. The individual experiences genuine distress, not because the pain serves any disciplinary purpose, but because it is an unavoidable consequence of physical trauma. Such experiences illustrate the difference between accidental pain and deliberately administered punishment. Both may hurt, but they occur in very different contexts and carry very different meanings. Is corporal punishment self-inflicted? An interesting philosophical argument sometimes arises in discussions of school corporal punishment. Because pupils generally knew the rules and were aware of the consequences for breaking them, some have argued that the punishment was, in a sense, self-inflicted. The pupil made a conscious decision to engage in behavior that was known to carry a particular penalty. By choosing the behavior, they indirectly chose the consequence. There is some logic to this position. If a student knowingly breaks a rule and understands that corporal punishment is the likely result, the punishment may appear to be the predictable outcome of a voluntary choice. However, this argument has limits. The actual pain is still administered by another person who possesses the authority to inflict it. The pupil does not strike themselves. The punishment is carried out by someone else. This distinguishes corporal punishment from activities such as cycling, sports participation, or other voluntary pursuits, where the risks are accepted, but the resulting injuries are not intentionally imposed by another individual. Consequently, corporal punishment occupies a unique position. It is both foreseeable and externally imposed, making it different from many other forms of pain people encounter in everyday life. The subjective nature of pain. Perhaps the most important consideration in any discussion of corporal punishment is the fact that pain is fundamentally subjective. Unlike temperature, weight, or distance, pain cannot be measured directly. Medical science can measure physical reactions associated with pain, such as changes in heart rate, stress hormone levels, brain activity, and endorphin production. These measurements reveal how the body responds to painful stimuli, but they do not tell us exactly what another person experiences. Two people may undergo the same physical event and report very different levels of suffering. One individual may find an experience almost unbearable, while another may regard it as merely uncomfortable. This creates difficulties when comparing pain between different individuals or groups. Questions are sometimes raised about whether girls experience pain differently from boys. Although researchers can identify biological and hormonal differences that may influence pain perception, there is no definitive way to compare subjective experiences directly. Measuring physiological responses provides useful information, but it does not reveal the actual quality or intensity of what another person feels. Moreover, individuals who are highly sensitive to pain may develop more effective coping mechanisms over time. Similarly, elevated endorphin production may indicate either greater sensitivity or a more powerful natural pain management response. The relationship between physiology and subjective experience is therefore far more complex than it first appears. Ultimately, pain remains one of the most personal aspects of human existence. We can observe reactions, measure biological processes, and listen to descriptions, but we can never fully experience another person's pain for ourselves.